Hello there, you're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. This is Priyanka Uppalla. Let's get you the cues from the global market and rest half an hour. We get you all the buzzing trade for the day today so that we set you up for the trading day today. Let's understand what were the cues that we gathered from US market. Now, the broad market index advanced 0.5% to end at 5,900 levels, above 5,900 levels, precisely 5,975 levels, and Nasdaq added 1.24 to end at levels of 19,864. Now, Dow Jones, that one lagged though. That one lost marginally, just 25 points, and closed at 42,706 level. Earlier in the session, we've seen that the 30 stock average rose as much as 383 points. But the chip stocks that were among the big gainers of the session after Foxconn especially announced record fourth quarter revenue. Nvidia jumped 3.4%, closing at a record after the stock posted 3 straight days of gain. Broadcom gained about 1.7%, while Micron Technology, that one advanced nearly more than 10%, 10.5%. And in fact, semiconductor stocks, semiconductor ETF, that one also jumped. So the chip makers were the real winners yesterday. That one jumped more than 3%. Talking about the 10 years Treasury yield, that one rose to top 4.6%. Now, this is all ahead of an important economic report out later this week. December's jobs report is due out on Friday, and this will be the key of the last few pieces of the data before Fed meets near the end of this month. So investors are also watching the job openings and the labor turnover surveys, which are slated for today, that is Tuesday, and December ADP employment survey on Wednesday. But talking about 10-year yield that rose, that topped 4.6%. Gold prices fell on Monday. In fact, this is all because in tandem of the way bond yields moved. Bond yield countered support from a weak US dollar though. Spot gold was up by 0.2% to close the trade at $2,634 per ounce. And in fact, futures were little soft. We saw it was down by 0.4%. Moving on, in fact, let's get you some more cues now, since what GIFT Nifty is implied is showing us that we are in for a positive start, maybe a 71 points up. But Asia Pacific market, the real cues lies from what happens, what kind of events unfold in Japanese market. Nikkei right now is up by 2.5%, nearly 2.5%, 2.3% of gains what we saw. Yesterday we saw, in fact, not that all the markets reacted, but Indian markets fell badly. There was a big sell of what we saw in Indian markets. But let's talk about the other cues. Kospi, this one is trading with 0.5% of cut. The kind of cues we'll gather from Japanese market, Hang Seng, it will be in fact the entire Asia Pacific region will be impacted. Hang Seng is also trading with a cut of 0.5%. Shanghai is down marginally, but clearly the markets, Asian markets, at least Nikkei has rebounded from the losses that they saw on Monday. ASX 200, that one is also up by 0.24%. Majorly, it's all the Japanese market, how the developments on the yen carry trade unfolds. That will actually give the direction, not just the Asian market, but also the globally, the kind of volatility we've seen yesterday from the global markets. That particular cues will come from yen carry trade developments from Japanese market. All right, let's get you some more cues now. In fact, crude, what we saw, because you know the kind of forecast also coming in for crude. Crude has been, there could be a, for market outlook also, experts are predicting maybe it can be in the range of $65 to $80. But then yesterday, oil eases on weak macro cues. Now, the weak macro cues which came in from UK, from Germany, and in fact, crude benchmarks are set to be out of the overbought territory also right now. Crude, the latest on the crude will get you on that also, that where is it right now trading at, but then there is a balanced supply between demand and supply, and now WTI is trading at $73 per barrel, Brent is at $76 per barrel. So these were the major indicators, major economic indicators, crude, gold. We've spoken about US and Asian market also, but now let's get you some more global stories also. And this point in this morning, we're tracking a story coming in from Canada also. Canadian Prime Minister announced his resignation as the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, effectively ending his 9-year tenure as a PMP. He now will function as the caretaker Prime Minister until a successor is chosen or decided upon. The move comes amid rising dissent against him within his party only. Trudeau went on to say what although he is a fighter, the parliament under his leadership is completely paralysed. According to Canada's legislature, in such a case, the ruling party gets 90 days from the day of resignation of its leader to find a replacement. Meanwhile, the spotlight is now on the likely contenders who will replace Trudeau. Dominic LeBlanc, Milian Joly, Francois Philippe and even Mark Carney are the names that have been floated as the potential choices.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world.
The axe has fallen. Of course, everybody knew that it would happen. But Justin Trudeau has said that he will no longer be Prime Minister of Canada. Now, this comes after 10 tumultuous years. I mean, as far as his last days would be considered, it has to be remembered that it came after a very bruising conversation with Donald Trump, who's going to be the next president of America. Because Donald Trump is looking at 25% tariff on all exports from Canada. And that's going to hurt the Canadian economy. It'll be dangerous for the Canadian economy. And Donald Trump is a transactional person. You have to argue with Trump. You have to discuss things with Trump. You have to stand up to Trump. Now, there has been a meeting between Trudeau and Trump, after which Trudeau was very dismissively, it was said about him that he was the governor of the 51st state of America. Imagine Trump saying this about a prime minister of a country, and Canada at that. Can you imagine Prime Minister Modi being dismissed like that? Definitely not. So Canada needs a new Prime Minister. That, of course, is only one reason. Then this entire issue with India. Now, India and Canada were once very good friends, but the relationship has plummeted, the quality of the relationship, primarily because a lot of things Trudeau has done is what India believes. Now, there is hope that actually this relationship can be rebuilt, because there are thousands and thousands of Indians who are there to study, and that brings a lot of money to the Canadian economy. Besides, many, many thousands of Indians are either NRIs or of Canadian citizens and people of Indian origin. Besides that, generally speaking, all Canadians believe that their economy is in bad shape, that they need a new leader, and Trudeau is definitely past his expiry date.
All right, that was Srinjoy Chaudhary, our network resource, who was talking more about this. But let's get you some more stories. In fact, let's get you stories from US now. What possibly, let's shift focus to the United States, where President-elect Donald Trump has denied reports that said his aides were looking at tariff plans that would only cover critical imports. Now, deepening uncertainty among business leaders about the country's future trade policy rhetoric, Trump responded on his Truth Social platform after the Washington Post cited 3 sources familiar with the matter as saying that Trump aides were exploring a narrower approach to tariffs. Now, focused on certain critical sectors, the said report sparked rallies across US and European stocks and maintained the up move despite his denial. The dollar paired declines against other currencies following his statement. And in fact, among other headlines we are tracking this morning is Fed top cop Michael Barr has said he will step down on February 28 in a surprise move that will avert a potentially messy legal fight with President-elect Donald Trump, who is now free to replace him with an official of his choosing. Barr said he was stepping down as a central bank's vice chair for supervision over a year before his term was set to expire in July 2026, but planned to keep his seat on the Fed's board of governors. While detailing the rationale behind his resignation, he said that the risk of being a serious distraction to the central bank and his ability to serve the people was high and wasn't worth it. We stay for a short break here. When we come back, we get you all the buzzing stocks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. The Association of Mutual Fund of India, MC, has released a 15-point proposal for the upcoming budget. Now, the said proposal seeks the restoration of the long-term capital gains tax benefit for debt schemes, which the government has withdrawn back in the year 2024 budget. Among other asks, MF wants a well-aligned taxation structure for the equity-oriented funds. Alongside, the MF body also seeks freedom for mutual funds to launch pension-oriented schemes. The other announcements in the proposal were a need to simplify taxation of offshore funds, a uniform deduction rate of such charge on TDS, and even the GST compliances on securities, lending and borrowing, to name a few, were amongst these proposals. And even government has launched a new PLI scheme for the manufacturing of specialty steel. Now, Steel Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy said that this comes after industry's feedback. Here's what Union Minister of Heavy Industries, Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy, had to say on the web portal launch.
Beneficial for the steel industry stakeholders, because in this PLI scheme 1.0, more than 6,000 crore benefits from the government actually we announced. In that, out of that 2,000 crores we already actually utilization by the stakeholders. Another 4,000 crore rupees even still it is in the ministry. For that actually we wanted to encourage for the stakeholders to participate by applied from today's website.
In fact, my colleague Prakash Priyadarshi is also joining us with more details on that. Prakash, over to you.
The Steel Ministry has launched the extended version of PLI scheme for the manufacturing of a specialty steel that would be called Steel PLI Scheme 1.1, where certain modifications have been made. As you are aware that the government had launched PLI scheme for the manufacturing of a specialty steel a few years back, and government has received investment commitment amounting to rupees 27,000 crore so far. But that is not as per the government's expectation. In fact, industry has had some apprehension as well under the first version of this scheme, and therefore they reached out to the government. Consultations have been made, and now government has come out with the certain modification in the first version based on the industry's feedback. If you look at the changes which have been made under this scheme, the focus area is, of course, capacity augmentation. 50% of threshold investments allowed in cases where companies augment existing capacities. Along with that, when it comes to investment criteria, that has been reduced to 3,000 crore now, and capacity creation has been reduced to 50,000 ton. Along with that, year-on-year growth will be 10%, and the most significant aspect of this modified version would be provisioned to accommodate any excess production that the company has made in the previous years. That's a significant aspect of this whole scheme. Along with that, approx 4,400 crore has been earmarked for the modified version where companies can reapply to get registered under this PLI scheme. So it's a very significant development coming in where Steel Ministry has now launched the extended version of PLI scheme for the manufacturing of a specialty steel, keeping an eye that will gonna be import substitution as if industry increase production and manufacturing of a specialty steel going forward.
All right. Thanks very much, Prakash, for all that update. Keep an eye on this one. We'll take a check from you. Moving on, Gaurav is joining us with all the stocks that could be buzzing in trade today. Gaurav, whole lot of stocks today on the business updates as well. Please tell us.
Well, yes, let's begin our list today with Zydus Life because this company's wholly owned subsidiary has now received US FDA's acceptance and priority review for the drug called CUTX-101. Now, this drug has a potential to become first FDA approved drug for a treatment of Menkes disease, and as a result, this company is going to be in focus. Zaggle Prepared is yet another company because this company has now entered into agreement with Kiranakar Technologies, which is also known as Zepto. They will provide Zaggle Zoyer Petty Cash and Zaggle Save proposition for the next 3 years. BPCL is also in focus today because this company's board has given in principle approval for the joint company MNGL for its IPO worth 1,000 crore rupees. Other than that, Manappuram Finance is also going to be in focus on the back of the negative news flow. Now, there was a robbery incident which happened in Odisha branch of Manappuram Finance, and the value worth assets worth to 20 crore rupees have been stolen. Other than that, Titagarh Rail will also be in focus because this company has now delivered driverless made in India train set to Bengaluru's metro line. Other than that, Ashoka Buildcon is also going to be in focus because this company has won an order from NHAI, and the bid for this order is going to be around 1,391 crore rupees. Lastly, we also have Power Grid, which is in focus because this company has backed 2 projects to establish interstate transmission system under build, operate, own and transfer model. Now, these projects have come from state of Gujarat and state of Karnataka, and LOI have been signed already, and as a result, this company is also going to be in focus. So definitely keeping a watch on all these companies on the back of the news flow that we have received in the morning.
Thanks very much, Gaurav, for indicating and highlighting all that stocks that could be buzzing in trade today. Well, with this, it's a wrap on the Market Cafe. GIFT Nifty implies us that it can be a positive start. Index might open with a 94 point of gap up. But stay tuned to 18 for more updates.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.